My name is Silvano RG. This class is Change Management. Introduction to Change Management Part 2. This class, Introduction to Change Management Part 2, is the continuation of Introduction to Change Management Part 1. In Change Management Part 1, we look at fundamentals of change management, what is organizational change, strategic planning, and practice skills in change management. Uh, Now, this class is an introduction to change management part 2. In this topic, we're going to be looking at the plan change methods theory, which are level method, action research method, and the positive model. The level method. The level method consists of unfreezing. Okay, unfreezing has to do with detection of management or detection management of changes, right? Of the changes that could be going on within the company, right? In other words, the desire to find out um, what things need to be changed or improved and take into account all the factors that are related to those changes, right? So in this stage here, it's very important to have the commitment of the higher management and the commitment to of the people that will be involved in this change, right? It's very important to evaluate the subsystem, human subsystem, and the social factors that could be entailed in the carrying out of these specific changes, right? It's very important to make now that once these changes are taken into account, things won't be the same, right? So things that you got to take into account when you carry out these kind of changes, you got to take into account the resources, right? You got to see if the company has enough resources to be able to to compromise itself towards the carrying out of the change, right? You have to find out and you have to study the resources of the company. The other thing that has to be taken into account are the stakeholders, right? The stakeholders are has to do with people that will be that are part of the company and that will be involved in the carrying out of this change, right? What their position is, what uh, what their involvement could be, and at what point they will be involved in the carrying out of the change. And the other thing that have to take into account is uh, the environmental facts. Like I already said before, it's very important to see what the environment is and what if the environment is conductive towards that change that has to be implemented, right? That's very important. So you got to take into account, those things. You know, the efficient method has to do with detection of change, right, in resources, right, and this involves the resources, the stakeholders, and the environment in which these changes will be carried out, right? Uh, so this is part of what we call home tracing. Okay, so next we have the transition of change, right? This is the beginning. of the change process, right? So this part here, by this time we already defined what the method is going to be, the timeline, right? The method that we'll be using to carry out this change, right? And by this time we should already know, how we're going to implement the change. So we should take into account, we should, we could take into account certain methods like, carry change specific timeline. That could be the that's how to call. We have the PERT method, right? Uh, then we have the CPM method, which will be used, for this purpose of timeline. But there's something here that could be considered, right? Implementing the method of Kaizen. You know, Kaizen is a method that's used for continuous improvement, right? Uh, Based on concrete actions that will be implemented. So those are methods. By the time you implement the transition, you gotta know exactly what path method you're using. The timeline, they were, the you have like what do you call it? You have to have like manage time management ready for that purpose. The resources that will be used for that purpose, you know. And by this time, you should have like already an idea of who is gonna be doing what, right? You should have an idea of what of the of the position that each person that will be taking part of the project should have, right? The responsibilities, which parts, and the compromise. Like by this time, you should already have the commitment of the high level management plus all our people that will be involved in the change process, right? So this is what we call the transition or change. Uh, this is the second part, right? The transition or change. Of this part of the level method, right? And then we have, well, as part of the transition and change, we have the following. What we call the implementation of action plan, right? Implementation. This is the important part of of plan itself, because here's when you put into action the plan says. So in this stage here, you have the life cycle, right? You implement the plan according to the, the life cycle, or the part it has in the life cycle. This part uh, has to in this part you have the management, the chronogram management, right? The chronogram management has to do with the management of the activities, right, that are part of this implementation plan, and the implementation of the plan itself, right? The implementation of the plan itself. Okay, the last part of Lewis method is refreezing, right? Refreezing. So refreezing is the final change of of of, of, uh, of the plan, right? So the new state of is reinforced, like the new change is reinforced with the norms, with norms, um, politics, and structures. So after you have implemented this plan, what you try to do is like reinforce this plan with a new culture and norms and the politics and the structure of the company, right? So you create the necessary guarantees and conditions so this time, this change will be sustained in time, right? At the same time, for the purpose of carrying out this plan, you got to have the support of the high level management, right? High level management. The support of the high level management is important to evaluate the impact of changes in regards to this plan. So the necessary guarantees and conditions created. Okay, the support of the high level management. instead of the account. Actual research method. If based on scientific plan change in which the initial research of the company provides information to find the subsequent line of actions. So results are evaluated, right? Diagnosis of the or results are evaluated based on diagnosis of the organization. Uh, Detection of from the result, right? So once you determine that they want this some regards to the then you look for someone to carry out diagnosis, right? So you carry out the diagnosis, and these diagnoses are carried out through methods, through interviews, observation, and information analysis. So you get information and get information analysis. So, like I said, this can be done internally or it can be done externally to an expert, right? To an expert. Now, determining the desired state, the desired state. So the actual state is determined, right? The actual state is determined. The vision for the ideal state is created, right? And a strategy is developed, right? So when you carry out this diagnosis, right? When you carry out this diagnosis, you determine you determine the actual state of the company, right? The second part, that you determine the actual state of the company to develop a vision of the ideal state of the company. So you want to know you see where the company is and determine where you want where the company right? So then a strategy is developed, right? A strategy is developed based on these factors, right? Based on where the company is and where the company wants to go. You try to develop a strategy to take the company from point A to point B, right? So in this process, a diagnosis is done, right? To detect opportunities, right? And you develop uh, visions for achievement, right? Or vision achievement, right? And action plans are developed. So action plans involve people who will be responsible, right? The date, indicators of achievement, and risk evaluation. Right? That's part of the action plan, right? We're talking about here we're talking about the research method, right? This is the second method. This is the research method. So I would say third part of this research method is the action evaluation, right? So in the action evaluation, why do you analyze the change impact, right? This is used to determine the adjustment. So you analyze the progress of the change and the impact of the change uh, to determine your adjustment or strategy. Uh, then you got to reinforce certain areas of refacing. For refacing, you have to reinforce certain areas for refacing and these compare these changes with previous established indicators, right? The action institution is given relevance to the action research, giving it relevance, giving it importance, right? And institutionalization is for making this this change a habit and establishing this change as a norm so that it can be given the importance that is required, right? And so that at the same time, the company can take into account, all the effort and all the investment that was implemented um, for the purpose of carrying out this this change, right? Now we have the positive model. The positive model is centered in what is being done well. In other words, in other words, in the positive model, you do an evaluation of all the activities that are done in companies processes, and you determine the activities that are being done well, but for the purpose of being done better, for the purpose of improvement. So what is being done well, you want to make it better. So this is the positive model. The positive model uh, involves four stages, right? The first stage is what is the best of the actual situation and what is being done well. So you determine by observation, by interviews, uh, and by by asking uh, what is the actual situation of the company or what is being doing well. So uh, so after doing like an analysis, right, and after coming to a conclusion, and then you determine okay what can be improved, right? So you see how everything that can be done well, all everything that can be improved, and you take like the thing that's best being done well, and you determine how can it be improved. Then the stage two uh, has to do with creating a dream, dream, create a vision. Right? So create a dream and create a vision. So what follows, right? So in regards to that can be improved, you create a vision, right, of where you want to go, right? So then, so you see what's can be improved, right? See what's been done very well. You take that, okay, and then you say, okay, what follows? Okay, you create a vision of how that can be improved, right? You create a vision of how that can be done, if that can go to the next level, and uh, then you carry it out. It's like you create a positive vision on that, right? The third stage is the design or co-construction. Okay? Action plans are created, okay, following uh, following to previous patterns, right? So what you do is you create a responsible, you have description of the action, time of execution of the action, uh, performance indicators, and everything that you will be everything all of this based on what has been done well. So like for example, uh, these these things have been done well, this action, this activity, this plan have been done well. So it just what you're gonna try to know is to make this better, right? Based on a vision of improvement, right? And based on a vision of improvement, then you implement this point from A to E, right? The last stage is action. Okay, what are we doing? Okay, so here the action is implemented, right? The action is implemented. So in the first part, in stage three, the action is the action plan is created, and in stage four, the action is implemented, right? And for this purpose, the high level management sponsorship is required. High level management sponsorship is required so that this plan can be implemented full range. Conclusion: which model should be implemented? Which model should be implemented when it comes to change plan? It depends on the needs and problems being dealt with in the company and the complexity of the situation after being analyzed. So you do like you do. a thorough evaluation of the status of the company, where it is, and where you want it to go, and you analyze both. You analyze the things that are being done well, and you analyze the things that are not being done well, right? So the things that are being done well, you try to improve them, and the things that are not being done well, you try to solve the problem. And it depends on those problems that got to be solved. You know, depending on those problems and depending on those things that got to be done well, you implement the appropriate change. Right. Okay. So this is the class for today, and then the next class we will be looking at the topic that's called uh, the next topic we're going to be looking at is the challenges to change plan. The next class we're going to be looking at challenges to change plan. Thanks. Have a very